Yep. That's it. We're going to fix that old bump action. So this week on KAOS Customs, we're going to work on the Sexy 6. Motor's running good, transmission shift and everything. It's enjoyable to drive, kinda. I say kinda. We have a bump stop or a bump problem. Well, we have a bottoming out problem. This old girl's lowered pretty heavy, and she needs to be C-notched. I don't know. I've had it this way for a long time. I don't know if it just didn't bother me as bad. I didn't notice it as bad. Whatever. I'm done with it. It's time to notch it out. Should have been done a long time ago, but oh well, we're doing her now. So we're going to go ahead, and this old girl's got quality bed. Yeah. Barn tin. I think I stole it off of my neighbor's roof or something. I can't remember, but I put a really nice wooden bed in there. However, the truck sat outside for a long time when I didn't have the shop and what have you, and sun, weather, it ended up rotting out. So barn tin floor in there, and it works, but it kind of noisy and echoey sounding. So I'm going to do a little something different with that. First things first, we're going to take that floor out of there. We're going to unbolt this bed. We're going to use the old 2-post, lift that bed up off there for us. We'll move the 31, bring that Sexy up here, put her on jack stands, level it out, choppity chop chop, weldy weld weld, and back together we go. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and take that floor out. Probably no reason for you guys to have to watch that, so I'll buzz you in a little bit. Well, I got a lot of them out, but we have this old girl. Broke that one. So the rest of them are just going to be, we're going to cut the heads of them off and get it on out of there. You want some of this? You want to play with my little friend? That's what I thought. That one didn't work, so we're going to go to the old cut-off wheel. Well, I just busted the second wheel in like 2 seconds. What's going on here? Yeah. We won that battle. It's all about them small ones, you know. All right, let's get busy. Oh, there's one. So normally we would take this bed off, but on this particular truck we have raised the bed so there's plenty of room between the bed and the chassis. And because I have the luxury of having a 2-post lift, when I lifted that thing up in the air to actually take the bed off, I noticed I had all kinds of room in here to put that notch in. So lucky me, I don't have to worry about taking the bed off. You're doing this on a regular pickup that's got a floor that's, the bed floor is still on the, in its OEM position, you can't do it without taking the bed off. You have to take the bed off. So I'm fortunate because I raised the bed. The reason I raised the bed is because I didn't want my fuel cell hanging lower down underneath. I don't like the looks of that fuel tank from behind and all that stuff, and you can see it hanging down low. So I raised mine up, and the sacrifice was I had to raise the floor of the bed up. And so that's worked out in my favor today. So first thing we're gonna do is get them rivets right here out of our way. Then we're gonna go ahead and take that coil spring out. And then we'll go starting to match up our notch and see what we got. Now, I'm only gonna do one side at a time. And I'll probably just film this one side. The other side's just a rinse and repeat. It's harder to get on that side. It's closer to the wall, etc. So anyways, so you're gonna watch one side. Let's get cutting on this little girl, huh? What do you say? I'm gonna use the old plasma cutter. Oh yeah, it's game time. Gotta say, it's a little super humid in this old place. We got a lot of water on the ground from all this rain, but I feel like I'm wrestling a bunch of monkeys over here. All these cables and hoses, and I don't keep my plasma cutter out. I keep it stored up, so probably ought to clean off a spot too. A good spot for the old grounds to go on first. All right, we are grounded. We are ready to go. I'm going to trim off the head of these rivets first. Smoking me. Catch it on fire, baby. Damn. We better button this shirt up. Let's throw that old air hammer down on her. We won that battle. That's what I'm talking about. That plasma cutter makes quick work of them rivets. So, next up, coil spring removal. We're gonna leave the shock in there. The shock will help keep the rear end from dropping out, because on this has a trailing arm style suspension on it. And with that being said, you don't want to undo your shock. If you undo your shock, the rear end would just drop when you undid your spring. So the shock is going to help support this. If this was on the ground, I'd probably go ahead and put a jack stand on it, but we'll be okay. So let me go ahead and get that spring off there. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I got a nut on the other side of this. I can't feel nothing back there. Yep. Sure is. It's gonna be kind of hard to do with one hand or one person. God damn. Well, that's awesome. Now I'm on it. And I can't get it off. All right, spring's out of our way. Let's do a quick check here to see if we can see anything on the inside of this frame rail. Nope, pretty clean. That one side's going to be easy to cut away. Now, we may have to take that rivet out, trim this thing back. I don't know. We'll see how that. So the shock looks like it's leaking right, but it was actually the pinion seal on my rear end, but I fixed it a few weeks ago. So when I'm in here, I'll go ahead and clean that shock off when I got more exposure to it. Now it's time to lay the C-notch in for a marking and kind of see where we're at. All right, so I went ahead and took the liberty of identifying which side is what for the C-notch. It's pretty easy. This tab, long tab, goes towards the front of the truck. Looking down on top, you can see that this isn't flat. That's because the frame isn't flat either. We have this kick out right here. So it's pretty easy. You just match up your angle, and then you're ready to go. So what I did here is I took some posterboard. I laid the posterboard on top of my notch, okay, because I don't care about the bottom. The bottom rests up against the bottom of your frame rail. But I want to know where we need to cut for this notch. And so what I did is I laid that posterboard up here, taped it on the flat edge, and then took my hammer and tapped it all the way around. That put a mark in, and I was able to cut it out, and it gives me a pattern. So another thing I did, that's my bump stop. That needs to be the center of the axle. So I went ahead and made a mark here for center. So what we have, because I've driven this for a while like this, and I've bottomed out a few times. You can see my bump right there. So obviously that's going to be center. I'm going to use that. I went ahead and made a mark. I went ahead and made a mark here with a paint pen. I'm going to simply lay our tab or our pattern up there aligned with our center mark, and then we should be good to go. So let's check it out and see how it works. Okay, lay my pattern up. I'm going to center that up. Magnet. Tape's not going to work because it's dirty, right? Okay, these are good old Harbor Freight magnets. That looks pretty good. I like it. It's time to mark her out. Okay, it gives me guidelines underneath. So I could use a plasma cutter to cut that and give it a cleaning up with a grinder and what have you. But I think I'm going to cut it with the Sawzall and give me a clean cut, a little bit more controlled. So we'll see what happens. I may switch over to the plasma cutter because my patient level is not the highest. So let's see it. Get the old Diablo blade here going. I got too much things in my way. Maybe let's do this first. Let's throw some starter line on. What do we say? Starter lines. What's going on here in my air hose? All tangled up like a snake farm in here. I hate having things all over the place. Go, except we're not. What the hell? I'm not wide enough. Not wide enough. Made my cut just too tight. I think we're there. I think we are there. I really need another C-clamp. I do. How do I want to do this? I need this stuck up here pretty bad. lot of stuff in the way here. Okay. I'm using this hole. I'm using that hole to help me line this up. Okay, so I had to go up and grab another ball joint press from a buddy of mine. The ball joint presses are just tougher. I couldn't get them squeezed tight enough where I wanted it with the C-clamp. So I used 2 ball joint presses, press this thing exactly where I want it. And now I'm going to go ahead and lay my beads where I want to see them, or where I want them, and start getting this thing welded in place. So let's get this thing going here. We got our professional attire on. I'm gonna get you guys, just gonna kind of stand you back and let you watch the flash. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's both notches are in. We're done. It turned out really nice. As they normally do, you take your time and no problems. You guys probably seen that I was using 2 ball joint presses just because the ball joint press allows me to I can get a lot more pressure on it than I can on a normal C-clamp. So I use 2 ball joint presses to press everything in right where I want them, right exactly before I nail it with the welder, and that way I know for sure exactly where it's at. That's just the way I like to do things. After I welded it and it cooled down, I went ahead and shot it with some undercoating to prevent any of the rust, etc. I'm going to go ahead and extend my exhaust out past where it cuts off just right below the bed side, and then we're going to lay in the bed. So there you have it. That's throwing in a C-notch and a C10, any truck really, any car. You just got to take your time, position everything. Don't be afraid to make a pattern. Position everything like exactly where you want it. Make sure that you support the back half of what you're cutting so it doesn't drop on you. That can create a big pain if that happens. Believe me, I've done it when I first did my first notch. I messed that up, so I learned my lesson. But I've done 50 or 60 cents in. So this is the way you see me do it today is the way I like to do it. It's simple, efficient, clean, ready to rock and roll. So until next time, like, subscribe, share, and deuces.